All right, so we want to give all praises and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai.
And peace and blessings to you brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth that are waiting on the second coming of Yahweh Shai, keeping the faith. We want to just kind of go into just what has came out over the last week, which last week you had a documentary that came out talking about debunking the Black Hebrew Israelites made by Reformed Apologetics Ministries. And we know that this stuff is supposed to actually keep coming out because of the fact that the truth about who we are as a people and about the fact that their kingdom is going down, speaking of these Edomites, is actually bothering you. Mm-hmm. So, we had the, James White with his group come and start coming up against the truth. And now you have this Reformed Apologetics Ministries who came and did a 2-hour documentary basically saying in so many words that we're not the Israelites. Okay, so we're going to kind of just go into some different areas of what he talked about. We didn't watch the whole thing, Most High willing, we'll continue on and maybe some lessons going into some of those things to basically come against these lies that he's teaching. Okay, so go ahead and start off with that real quick, and we're going to start off first talking about the part 1 where he goes into the history of the Hebrew Israelite movement. Okay, go ahead, Al.
This is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them. Okay, so the brother brought out that scripture. When you go into like the history of the movement, which he goes into, that's the first part of the whole thing. He starts off with the man known as Abba Bivens, the formation of the school over in New York. Mm-hmm. And then from there he goes into the different groups that broke off from the original school. So when he goes into it, there's some truth to some of the stuff that he was bringing in, referring to especially the splits. Those are valid. And some of the information about men saying that there were certain men back in the reincarnation. This is actually known that men were pushing that. Okay, and that's part of the damnable heresies, is for men to start coming back saying that there are all these different men back in the reincarnation, and then basically putting it on their followers and basically turning it into a man worship thing. Okay, so that was what was going on, and there was a reason why that had to happen, because it was already prophesied that you were going to have false prophets among the people that would bring in damnable heresies. So him bringing that out, all it did was just prove that the scriptures are correct. Right. Okay, because the apostles were pushing out the scriptures when they were set up and during the time, and there were still people that came amongst them that was pushing that. How much more in these last days? Go on. So go ahead and go to the second verse. Right. Verse 2. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
Yeah, so many shall follow also these false prophets, line upon line. Mm-hmm. The same people that was pushing out this stuff, they're going to have many followers. Mm-hmm. We brought out a lot of those different groups. A lot of them have followers. Some of them are teaching things that are correct. Some are teaching things that are wrong. When you examine some of those groups, you see different things that people can say, okay, well, listen, this is wrong, this is right, or this is wrong. But when you examine the reason why it's happening, because it was prophesied that we're going to be men, that we're going to be false prophets, that we're going to be set up, and they're going to have followers.
That's right.
Plain and simple. So him bringing that up, all you're doing is just proving the scriptures that is actually true. Which one thing we notice about Reformed Apologetic Ministries, they don't go into prophecies.
At all.
Mm-hmm. You don't touch not one prophecy. All you're dealing with is conjecture and false information. A lot of the pictures and stuff that you were showing, some of those stuff was created in recent history. Right. And you can tell because of the condition of them.
That's right.
Those drawings and stuff that you were showing were not 2,000. Some of those are not even 2,000 years old. Right. Mummies. We're gonna touch on some of this stuff that this guy was doing,
stuff
man.
Was funny, man.
Stuff was funny style, man. And we're doing this to edify brothers and sisters that may run upon this, and that you might be weak in the faith and thinking that, hey, this guy's right, because there's a lot of people of our nation that were rolling with him. So basically, they're admitting they had no delivery. So go ahead and we're going to continue on with this topic. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 19.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 19. For there must be also heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you.
That's the reason why the Most High has men that are set up that are false prophets. Because the Most High sets up men, whether they be his own prophets or whether they be false prophets. Those men have to fulfill their lot. Okay? So the reason why there's got to be heresies where you got to have men, one group that's saying that the other nations can be saved, like GOCC. Another group saying that we don't know the name, like IUIC. One other group saying that he's talking about he's for black and Hispanic people and ISUPK. Because what we preach over here, we preach that the so-called natives of the Americas, all right, that were here, and also the people that were brought here on cargo slaves into slavery are Israelites.
That's right.
That is based on prophecy, okay, which this man doesn't even want to go into at all. So, but then we also push here that we have our people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, that your so-called racial classification as it is in this society does not determine whether or not you're an Israelite. The great sifting agent is going to be the gospel, ultimately. But for truth's sake, we got to deal with things such as some of the topics that he addressed about how the Israelites looked and things like that, and how the other nations looked and where Israel comes from, which the man, I guarantee you, would not answer. We've dealt with people like this. These smart Edomites that know how to manipulate information and stand upon an area, but when you knock it down and you expose it, they don't know where to go. So that's what some of the things going to be established. But as far as the heresies, what are some of the heresies? What was some of the heresies that he talked about? That Jacobs. What are the different doctrines that he talked about in the split, if you remember? The different split. Why were the splits happening? There was different reasons why the splits were happening. Do you remember some of them?
They just basically on they they just start coming up with different beliefs. Each group was coming on with their own different beliefs.
Yep.
According to the scriptures. So like you was just saying, like that all nations can be saved.
Yep.
That was one of them.
Yeah, that's GOCC.
Yeah, and the other one was just only African Americans, so-called African Americans can be saved, and the and Native American Indians.
Correct.
And the Latinos.
Correct.
And it was just different. It was some other stuff too, man.
The Cornelius issue.
Yeah, the Cornelius.
For the split from the house of David. That was one of the issues. The reason why Tahar, which he says it many times, Tahar had left because of the issue with that. But which that's not an actual heresy. That's actually true that he was an Israelite. Right. So we'll probably do a lesson on that just to kind of re-solidify it. But that was a true thing. So that wasn't a heresy. That's a heresy to an Edomite that believes that Jesus came to save all people.
Yeah.
Which we've done many lessons many times. Even the heathens. Okay? Even the heathens know that the Most High power is only the power of Israel.
Right.
In fact, we can get one scripture on that. Go to real quick. Go to Ezra real quick, chapter 1. Okay.
Ezra, you say?
Yeah, the book of Ezra.
Yeah, that's a known fact that the heathen know that we are those children, man. Yeah, and that the Most High is dealing only with Israel.
It's only our power.
Chapter 1.
Yeah, Ezra chapter 1. Just read this. Let's see what Cyrus said. See, this guy, you got people who want to play games, but we're going to see what King Cyrus, who is so-called Persian, which today would be known as an East Indian or an Iranian. Let's put it like that. Which those people are descendants of Elam.
Right.
Okay. Now this guy wants to talk about Shem. We'll get into all that stuff, man. We like this. See, the thing about it is the guy doesn't understand. All you did by putting out that video, Reformed Apologetics Ministries, all you did was just make the word go up higher. That's all you're gonna do.
Yeah.
We were looking for this. Yeah, we were looking for this.
Reinforcing it, man.
See, you can't do nothing against the truth before it.
That's right.
That's what you're gonna realize, man.
Bring more brothers and sisters into the fold.
Yeah, and all you're gonna do is make us solidify everything, because now brothers gonna come out with art archaeology that you didn't want to do.
That's right.
All you did was just bring out them cartoon drawings that little Matt, little Matty or little what's it what's it called? Little Hunter drew. Hunter drew in his coloring book. That's all you did, man. So go ahead. Let's see what Cyrus says. Just start from the top, because they're gonna get all isolated scriptures. Line upon line, we're gonna give it to you. All right, in the context. Go ahead, Art.
This is the book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Most High stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying, Thus say Cyrus, king of Persia, the Most High power of heaven has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people?
Of all what?
Who is there among you of all his people?
Even Cyrus said that his people are the Israelites. Now, hold that. Go to Joel 2:27.
Joel.
Because see, the biggest aspect of this ministry is to debunk that we're the people of Israel. One, we're going to solidify that he has one nation that he's dealing with. Okay? Then through the Spirit, we're going to establish the other lives that you had, man, which are beautiful. And they're going to be torn down through the Spirit of the Lord, man. And you're gonna look real silly, man. even to some people that are other nations, they're gonna be looking at your thing like you didn't really go into that. Why didn't you touch on this? Or why don't you want to admit that?
Yeah, because they don't know the prophecies, man.
Yeah, Joel chapter 2, verse 27 is after Ezra.
They don't know the scriptures at all.
Yeah, we'll go back to Ezra. Yeah, so he says, who among you among his people?
Right.
That's a possessive pronoun, man. Don't you know English? You know? Come on, man. His people. He said the Most High God of heaven and earth has given me these kingdoms.
Yeah.
So he understood that it wasn't, and you think that he was still worshiping his other gods.
Right.
Why? Because he knew that was not his power.
That's right.
The heathen was given the inheritance of idols. That was their inheritance, to worship other gods.
That's right.
Until the kingdom of heaven is established, and they have to worship the one true power.
Yeah.
But even then, he will still only be the people that will be his are going to be the Israelites.
That's
so go
right.
ahead, Op.
You ready one, Joel?
Joel 2:27.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And none else.
I am the Lord your power, and none else. Now, let's go back and let's re-solidify what Cyrus said. A guy that was not an Israelite, which I'm pretty sure he'll admit to. You know, I'm pretty sure he'll admit to, a lot of people admit to, that he was not an Israelite. So
right.
Go ahead and go back to that part where you left off.
Ezra, chapter 1, verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people?
Of all his people, when he said he's no other people but Israel, in Joel 2:27. Keep going on.
His power be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem.
His power be with that man, and let him go up to Jerusalem.
That's
Meaning
right.
your God, your power,
be with
you.
Right.
Not mine. He didn't say mine. Whatever God that they were worshiping over there in Persia, he understood that. Keep going out.
Which is in Judah, and build the house of the Most High power of Israel. He is the God, which is in Jerusalem.
Come on. Plain. Was there any more of that?
No, that's it.
That's it. Come on. So what did Cyrus know, bro? You gonna say something about it?
Nah, I mean, hey, it's known, man. The heathen know about our power, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the history that we've had with all these different people, man. So that stuff is recorded for them too. That's like when you go to Israel today, man, and these Palestinians look upon the brothers and sisters that's over there now, and they're stating in your face, these are the true people of the land, man.
Yeah.
Because they know through history.
Yeah.
And their foreparents told them that the people there were black, and then they were kicked out, and then the whites came in and took over.
Now, how come he didn't go to Abdul Gabar Nasser?
Yeah.